We have danced this dance to the end of the week. It is Friday, Free for All Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Number one show on the streets, talking your Crimson Tide football. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama-Magazine. Glad you can be here checking us out on this evening. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming it to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, if you haven't done so, go ahead right now, hit subscribe, smash the subscribe button right now so that you can have all that you crave on Bama football. Also be sure to give a thumbs up on the show, leave a like, run those likes up, make this your show, your network, your platform, channel, and space to talk Bama football. Turn all of those notifications on, hit that little bell so that way you don't miss any alerts on the Crimson Tide. Got you covered right here on Facebook and Twitter as well, streaming to you this show. Got a good show here, good action here on a Friday. We'll be discussing a number of different topics, and a little bit later on in the show, we have my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, coming on here. He's got a really cool, a really intriguing recruiting series that he is going to talk about. People, if you're not tuned in, if you're not checking this out, I encourage you to check this out. What Justin is doing, it's game-changing, it's revolutionary, it's innovative, it's really, really cool as he's giving you the close-up exclusive in terms of these recruits from a relaxed video game type of atmosphere. This is a really awesome series, so definitely encourage you guys to check that out. We'll get a chance to hear from Justin a little bit later on in the show. And we also want to hear from you, the Bama fans, the passionate people that love your program. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you. The Daily Super Chat Go, $75. Daily Super Chat Go right there. Appreciate the love coming from you, the fans. And while Alabama softball, Patrick Murphy, Montana Fouts, the ladies undefeated. Women's basketball, Christy Curry's got the girls doing their thing as they beat Georgia in the first round of the SEC tournament. Moving on, Bama baseball under Coach Bohannon doing some good things, and yet men's basketball under Nate Oates trying to get to win number 20. I'm trying not to be overstressed. I'm trying not to be stressed out about this, but maybe this is what my heart does not need to be involved in when you look at Alabama basketball. And can the guys finally get to that 20th win on the regular season? It takes on LSU this weekend. Hopefully that can be win number 20 here for the Crimson Tide. But anyway, we're getting it out. Topic number one of the conversation tonight, and that is spring football is set. Alabama's spring practice schedule is out. Bama will start spring ball next week, March 11th in Tuscaloosa. The return of freshly cut grass, pigskin throwing, pads popping, helmets clanging, bodies banging, action being done on the field. Spring football returning next week. And what's really awesome about this is the start of what can this team look like when you discuss the season, the regular season coming up in the fall, the improvements this team can make, the growth this team can make, as far as the chemistry and the continuity and the guys being able to gel together as teammates, as players. What will that look like? The new coaching hires on staff. Did Coach Saban really hit some home runs with these coaches, with these assistants, whether they're on-field guys or off-field analysts? We'll start to get some information or some knowledge of that in spring ball. You look at the freshmen in here, the 13 early enrollees. How many of these guys can really get in here and push for playing time and have a successful spring and be dominant? You look at the 3 transfers in here for the Crimson Tide. What can they do? So it's just so many really cool questions that we're about to get answers to starting next week here. Spring ball coming back to the Crimson Tide. And if you go to RollTide.com right now, the roster's out when you discuss all 13 early enrollees for the 2022 class and the new coaching hires that were made. It's all out there right now. You can check it out also on screen right here and discussing the 13 early enrollees, guys like Jeremiah Alexander, Giot Campbell, Sean Murphy, Aaron Anderson, Elijah Brown, Tyler Booker, Dane Shore, Traquan Fagans. I mean, they're all right there. Height, weight, the numbers, the measurables right there on screen. Also, the 3 transfers that came in from the portal. Elias Ricks, corner defensive back from LSU. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back from Georgia Tech. Jermaine Burton, wide receiver from Georgia. And then the new coaching hires and discussing Eric Wolford from Kentucky. He's here as the offensive line coach for Alabama. Travaris Robinson from Miami. He's the cornerbacks coach now for the Crimson Tide. And then you got Coleman Hutzler of Ole Miss. He's the special teams coach and outside linebackers coach now for Alabama. Also, if you look at the roster, no more Dr. Matt Ray, as it's official from the New Orleans Saints. They put out a press release. He's with the Saints now in the NFL. Paul Constantine will be taking over his spot right there. Also, if you look at RollTide.com, Sal Sunseri moved to an off-field role, special assistant to head coach Nick Saban. Drew Swoboda moved to an off-field role in the support staff. So if you go to RollTide.com, the spring roster already made available for you with all the new pieces, all the new forms of information, all the nuances being put there on the roster to familiarize yourself with. So that's going to be cool there. That's going to be really awesome to watch, especially starting off next week in spring ball. Also, when you look at spring, the A-Day game has been announced. Well, not just announced, the time and the network has been announced. The game will be on Saturday, April 16th at Bryant-Denny. The time will be 2 p.m. Central. The network, SEC Network Plus, so you will have to stream it. I know, bummer, right? Because normally the A-Day game is played on ESPN, and we would get the outstanding crew of Joe Tessitore and Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway, but with it being on SEC Network Plus, we don't know who will be calling the game, so you would have to stream the game. Maybe this was all calculated by Alabama to do it this way to get more people into the stadium to watch the game. I mean, the last highly populated A-Day game, you would have to go back to 2011, the year after the Crimson Tide lost 3 games in 2010. 2011 was the first of 2 back-to-back national championships of the Saban era. And that 2011 spring game, I think Alabama had over 92,000 in there. So maybe this was calculated in the sense of trying to get more fans, trying to get more people to be in the stadium, to watch the game, to be there for the entire exhibition, and to create that juice, that energy, that feeling back in the building. Because remember, when the A-Day games first started, when Saban first got there, 2007 and 08, they were not televised. You used to read about them in the newspaper. They weren't televised. So a lot of those A-Day games, it was you had to see it to understand what was going on. You had to see it to understand the feel for it. You had to see it to recognize who would be the big-time players, who would be the marquee guys, who would be the special playmakers out there on the field. And then now that TV has entered the fray, you're seeing less and less people in the actual stadium watching the game and getting the bird's eye view of this, because, why go to the game where I can sit at home on my recliner and my couch with my pizza and my wings and my beer and my popcorn. I can yell as much as I want to because I'm sitting at home in the comfort of my domain, in the comfort of my own area, which I get that. Sometimes the weather elements may not permit you to go into Bryant-Denny Stadium. Sometimes you may have some things to do with your time and you would much rather watch the game from home. But seeing that it's streaming on SEC Network Plus, not on the SEC Network, not on ESPN or ESPN2 or on that family of networks, but streaming on SEC Network Plus, this may create a situation where more fans may need to get into the game to check out the action there on A-Day. But spring football returning next week, hopefully, John, after spring of 2020, when COVID first hit. We were wanting to get back out on the field. It was taken away from the media. It was taken away from us. And, of course, the spring of 2021, we wanted to be back there on the field. Was not back there on the field. So hopefully now, with the COVID numbers down and some people, organizations, businesses going without the mask mandate, hopefully at this point we can get back on the field and really see what's going on here in these practices. Because while, yes, I do enjoy to some extent the videos being put out there to us by the Alabama Athletics program, it's much more profitable. It's much better when you're able to go out there and watch the practices, watch the guys perform, watch everything in motion with your own two eyes, seeing it for yourself. That's a big deal there. So hopefully we can get back out there on the field this spring. But practice kicks back up, starts up next week, March 11th. Going to be entertaining to watch who does what, who takes over what, which freshman steps up, which coach has the biggest impact for the upcoming season, which new coaching hire has the biggest impact. We discuss, will it be Eric Wolford on the offensive line? A lot of you as fans want to see this offensive line get back to overwhelming people and being dominant and being tough and being physical. Is Eric Wolford, does he make the biggest impact? Does Travaris Robinson make the biggest impact in the secondary, getting this group to be the no-fly zone that we saw 2015, 2016, and 2017? Will Coleman Hutzler make the most impact as a special teams coordinator and outside linebackers coach? Could it even be an offensive or defensive analyst that makes the biggest impact behind the scenes? With it, Todd Grantham. With it, Zach Mettenberger. With it, Derek Dooley or Cornelius Williams. Which coach on the staff do you feel like, as a fan, this spring will have the most impact with the position that they are running, they are over, they are in charge of, in trying to get this team, this program back to the national championship game and finishing the deal here? But we take a quick break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we go on the phone lines to grab your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your donations, your chats, your interactions, Bama Nation. We get to a dialogue with you, the fans, and it's coming after this on a Friday.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got two words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
And we're back into the action here, folks, from the break on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Number one forum for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, rocking the TDA Wear shirt on today. Warm day Warm Friday, but you know what? Spring is in the air. It's in the action right now. But we go to the phone lines right now to take your calls. Call segment is brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And we got to shout out my man, El Presidente Waylon, with that $9.99 in the Super Chats. Appreciate the love there coming from Waylon, helping us out here on the show. But we grab this call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
Well, I'm back again. It's Friday. Finally Friday is what George Jones used to sing on the radio. Everybody wanted to hear that song on Friday. We'll get him for the weekend. I tell you what, I hope everybody's doing okay tonight in the chat. I see everybody waving, everybody's looking good. Like I always say, it takes each and every one of y'all to make Touchdown Alabama #1 show in the country, the hottest show on the streets. It'll light your britches leg on fire, I'm telling you what. Stephen, what you got here? Give me some good news on Friday.
Well, spring ball wagon starts next week. Next Friday, March 11th, Coach Saban will have the guys back out there on the field getting that spring football prepared. We'll get to see a lot of things. Which freshman steps up? Who will be some of the veterans that step up? Which coach of the new coaching hires makes the biggest impact? So many questions. We'll start to get a feel of those answers coming up here starting next week in spring practice.
Yeah, spring practice is right around the corner. You outside today, you can feel it in there, but I'm afraid we're going to pay for it. We'll have a few more cold days, but we'll get through it here. But we wanted to say one more thing here. We appreciate you popping in last night and all the people there. I love all y'all. We had fun last night, and, that's what it's all about, helping one another and having fun and getting through these tough times here in this world. So that's what it takes, shows like that and shows like tonight, enjoying one another's conversation, having fun, taking your mind off, taking a load off your mind and thinking positive sometimes, But I love all y'all. Y'all have a safe weekend. Let's meet back on Monday. I got to get out of here. I love all y'all. Bye-bye, everyone. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Appreciate Waylon here starting us off on Friday with that call there. We go to this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
What's going on, Big Steve? This is Tobias all the way out here in Fresno, man.
What's happening with you, man?
What's going on? How you doing? Oh, man, it's all you. I can't call it. I'm excited about spring ball taking place. And, I was listening to Paul Feinbaum's show, and a caller had talked about ways to make spring ball more exciting. And, what's a trip about that is spring ball, it's for the fans, but it's for the team. It's for the team to get ready, And so I don't know that coaches and schools are trying to make it so attractive for fans, but I do understand our craving for football and wanting the person was talking about, at the end of spring ball, playing another team and all of that kind of stuff. All of this is interesting, but I'm more so just looking at the development of those athletes. And every year you provide a lot of intel on that. So I had a couple of questions for you. Have you gotten any word about who's really excelling through the fourth quarter program?
Well, from what I've gathered, Tobias, everybody's putting in work. Everybody's putting in work. Now, I know for a lot of people out there, the hope on the offensive line is that Tommy Brockermeyer and J.C. Latham are prepared to take both of those two tackle spots. That's the hope. There's been some good on Brockermeyer. There's been some questions about, is he truly ready? We will see this spring. But the hope from a lot of fans, from a lot of people within the program is, are these two set to take both of those two tackle spots? But, I think that's probably the biggest concern. Of course, you have some that ask the question about the interior pass rush on the defensive line from guys like Tim Smith and DJ Dale and Byron Young and Justin Boygby, but I think the defensive line is going to be fine. Of all the questions being asked to me or that I've gotten, the biggest one is on the offensive line, can Brockermeyer and Latham be the tackles that, they were hyped up and presented to be coming in that 2021 class?
Right. I heard your analysis, great analysis on the defensive line the other night. Maybe it was last week, but the defensive line, because we said that through the season, that there was just seemingly not enough push, not enough. It's not just dog. It was like strength, at the point of attack. A lot of guys were on roller skates. DJ Dale, they're skating around, and so you talked about, this the assistant that was getting that promotion and kind of emphasizing, that bulk, that strength. Like we're gonna be in the weight room, and we're not gonna get pushed around. And I feel very confident in what's going to happen on defense. But my excitement is really, as you said, around the offensive line. We saw it this year that really that's what's going to make it work. You can do a lot of dink and dunks when you have exciting players. In the past we've had Jalen Waddle, Smith and Judy. I mean, we've had just amazing weapons. So you can throw them a 5-yard slant and it can go to the house. But you kind of don't want to depend on that, especially with a Bryce Young type, not as tall, but has an amazing ability to throw off balance and to get the ball where it needs to in those real tight windows. I would love to see an offensive line this year be stronger at the point of attack. Some of the pulls from our guards and tackles, they seem to struggle in that area when we were going side to side. And I would like to see us kind of push people around. Can you tell me about the tight end? I had just one more question after this. The tight end situation in Alabama. I know two, it looked like he dropped a little bit of weight, and one left the program apparently. How are we in our tight end room?
That's going to be another one there, Tobias. The one that's not on the roster is Caden Clark. And so I don't know if he truly left or was that a glitch by one of the interns that he's not on the roster. We'll definitely get with that. But, Jaleel Billings is at Texas. So behind the two, this is where freshman Elijah Brown, early enrollee from Ohio, comes in. Can he make a quick impact in spring ball? Also, you still have Robbie Oots, who came as a tight end from South Carolina in 2021. Now, he was in that fullback role last year and was really doing well before he got hurt. So Robbie Oots is back. You've got Elijah Brown. Major Tennyson is still here for his 6th season. He came in 2017, so you still got Major Tennyson. And then you got 2 more guys coming in the summer with Danny Lewis Jr. and Namari Nablack. But it's who is the best complement to the two. And right now, Robbie Oots, Elijah Brown, Major Tennyson, those 3 guys in spring, we'll see who rises from those 3.
Got it. And last question. Were you taken back by Jamison's comment about had he been in the game that we would have won? Because I wasn't. I felt like it was a good comment because I felt like it was the absolute truth. And I feel like Georgia fans should acknowledge that as well, because I would acknowledge it, that if they told me, whoever we were playing, that one of your stars went out and there wasn't nothing to replace that, I could see where that would give us a leg up. Obviously, with Jamison out and Mechie out, I mean, Georgia fans have to recognize that they would have been diced up. There's no way that we leave that stadium without a championship. They have to acknowledge that we had drop balls, we had young boys. No, but I just wonder what your take was. People made a big deal about that seemingly on social media about him making that statement, but I thought it was a totally legitimate statement. I support the show. Roll Tide Roll. I just dropped something in the chat. Man, keep doing what you're doing. I'll take your comments off here.
Appreciate Tobias calling in from Fresno. I was not taken back by it. Competitors compete. If you're a competitor, you compete. And you know within yourself, hey, if I would have been on that field, the game would have been different. The outcome would have been different. I don't blame Jameson because he knows. If I would have been on that field, no Georgia DB could check me with the speed that I have. And I wholeheartedly believe that if he would have not hurt his knee in that game, the outcome definitely would have been different because on the play where he got hurt, he had the guy beat by 7-8 yards, probably even more than that. So Jameson knows, hey, if I would have stayed healthy, if the knee didn't go awkward, Alabama, this team I'm playing for, would have won the national championship. Absolutely. Do not take it back at all by what J-Mo said. If you're holding, callers, continue to hold. If you're holding right now, or if not, you can call back within the next 10 minutes. Guys, shout out my man Tobias Brookins. He said he dropped something in the chat, and he did. That big hundo, that $100 there. Ben Franklin in the super chats. Appreciate him. Jamie Wilhelm, that $4.99 the super chats. Appreciate Jamie Wilhelm for that. The daily super chat goal of $75 has been met. Appreciate you, the fans. Quick topic here before we go to break here, and that's guys in the NFL Combine. That would be Evan Neal and Slade Bolden on yesterday. Evan Neal looks incredible. I mean, for him to have come in 2019, 360 pounds, he's dropped 24 pounds from his freshman year at Bama to now in the Combine. He came in weighing 336, and man, the brother's wearing the whip. From 360 to 336, guy looks like the number one overall pick and is trying to be the first Alabama player to go number one overall, I think since 1948. 74 years ago, Harry Gilmer did it right there. So big kudos to Evan Neal. And then Slade Bolden did the combine, ran the 40 in 4.62 and 4.63 seconds. Did the gauntlet drill pretty well there also. So the New England Patriots may be having their eyes there on Slade Bolden. But we go to a break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we get back, we go to my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. It's Friday, and we're talking Bama. We'll be back after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian. Or Jameer.
Back into the action here, folks, from the break. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Appreciate you guys checking us out on today, on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Be sure to run those likes up. Give us a thumbs up here. Give a like on the show. Make this your show, your network platform, channel, and space to talk Bama football. But right now, we go over to virtually the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up the legend, the boots on the ground, the man in all things recruiting. Nobody covers these athletes wall to wall, cover to cover, page to page, trip to trip, like the man Justin Smith right here. Brother, what's going on? How you feeling? Welcome in.
Hey, what's up, Steven? Excited to be back on virtually. I think it's been a minute since we've done it like this.
It's been a long time, man, since we went virtually, Justin. So shouts out to the man John Ivory in the production studio doing his thing, getting this virtual thing hook up here for Justin and myself. So, Justin, you've got this cool series right now, and I've been telling the people about it. If you haven't checked out Justin's series, recruiting series with the young men on the recruiting trail, getting to know them, video gaming with them in a cool, relaxed atmosphere, kind of exclusive, taking you behind the scenes. It's really, really dope. It's really intriguing, game-changing type stuff right there. And Justin, you had a recruit, Raquez McElderry, on the show, on the series, and it was really awesome seeing that. So we're going to actually go to the clip of Justin spending time gaming with McElderry, playing a little Madden, getting to know him more. You guys check this out.
No. 71 better not catch that.
No!
Oh, we need that. We need that. I got it. We got it. Come on, man. You can't be. Come on, man. Get it. Got him.
No!
Yo, man. I thought the punter had me. That
was Justin Smith, our lead scout and recruiting analyst in the series. Playing video game with recruits there, a little mad, and getting to know these guys from off of the football field, so to speak, with Raquez McElderry, the first of this series. And Justin, just what brought this on for you? What made this happen for you? And how many recruits are you trying to get involved, gaming with them, learning more about them, really popping this exclusive game-changing ordeal here with the series?
Well, this is an ideal that we at Touchdown Alabama have had for a couple of years, I would say. And we always thought about it, but we never really put in any plans into action as far as moving forward with it. I always wanted to do it because I know gaming is a way that many kids connect. I consider myself to be a gamer, and I know it has developed into a culture within itself. And I know talking to these guys all the time on the recruiting trail, it gets a bit stale, I would say. I feel that a lot of these guys are a lot of times locked into not wanting to say the wrong thing in your natural interview, and that is understandable when you consider the amount of pressure some of these guys are under. When you have 60-plus offers, that means 60-plus coaches can be trying to be in contact with you. So I wanted to create a platform where these guys are a little bit more relaxed, just getting to talk about stuff that does not really pertain to football. Also discuss some things in terms of their recruitment, but not really specific towards their recruitment, but just talking about the journey of it, the grind of the recruiting process. Because I think a lot of people don't really know what goes into the recruiting process in terms of looking from the outside and trying to look in. I think just speaking with Raquez, he looked more relaxed and more comfortable than I've ever seen him in any type of interview, just interacting. I think when you watch this first episode, you're going to learn so much about him as a young man, as a football player, and also learn a little bit about his recruitment, but also talk about just the recruiting process, how it is to be committed to one school but still visiting other schools. So I think it's just going to be a relaxing and good time for the recruit and myself. And I think if you are a viewer, you're going to enjoy it if you consider yourself a gamer. But if you don't consider yourself a gamer, you're just a fan of recruiting, a fan of Alabama football, you're going to learn, I think, more about these kids watching this particular show than any other particular show that you can watch. So I'm definitely excited to keep it moving forward, get more guys on, and the first one is set to drop over the next couple of days.
Now, I know you and I talked before coming on, Justin, that there are more guys that are going to be involved in this series. Can you kind of give a small rundown list, if you can, of the recruits that you've contacted that have given you the okay to be a part of the series with you?
A long list of guys. I know Raquez was the first guy. I know I have a great relationship with him, so I know he was going to be willing to do it. But some guys who we have lined up coming up are some top Alabama targets in the 2023 recruiting class, like 5-star defensive end Jaden Wayne out of Washington. You have 4-star defensive lineman Hunter Osborne out of here, Trussville High School in Trussville, Alabama. Makari Vickers, 4-star defensive back out of John Paul II Catholic High School in Tallahassee, Florida. So we're going to have some of the Crimson Tide's top targets in the 2023 recruiting class. 5-star defensive end Peter Woods, and he was down to do it as well. So you're going to get an opportunity to learn about some of the top recruits in the nation, some of the Crimson Tide's top overall targets, not only in the 2023 recruiting class, 2024 recruiting class, and possibly the 2025 class. They have offered a couple of guys. So I think it's going to be a great platform for the recruit. And I think whoever gets an opportunity to watch it is going to really enjoy it.
We got Justin Smith right here virtually, scouting and recruiting extraordinaire analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine on a Friday. If you're just checking out here, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Justin talking about this recruiting trail, but also the series that he's got going on, gaming with recruits, putting them in a relaxed atmosphere, having fun with that. But Justin, this is also big recruiting weekend here for Alabama. A lot of the top targets will be in Tuscaloosa visiting Coach Saban, the staff, among other things. So who are some of those top targets that will be in T-Town this weekend?
I think it's a very interesting list. I'm just looking at the list. Something that really stands out is the amount of talented defensive backs who are going to be in Tuscaloosa. You have 3 5-star guys in Kamani McClain, the Crimson Tide's 5-star defensive back, Jaleel Hurley. You also have Tony Mitchell to go along with a couple of other 5-star recruits like Malik Bryant, the 5-star linebacker out of IMG Academy. You also have another 5-star recruit visiting Alabama as well. So the Crimson Tide will have a long list of guys, including some top-tier 5-star prospects heading to Tuscaloosa, including Peter Woods out of Thompson High School in Alabaster, Alabama. So you have some talented 5-star guys, but you also have some talented 4-star and 3-star guys. We talked about Waquez McElderry a little bit earlier. He's a 3-star offensive lineman out of Anniston High School in Anniston, Alabama, verbally committed to Georgia at the moment, but he's continuing to visit Alabama, continuing to keep his options open, as we talked about on that gaming series during the first episode. He talked about how he's keeping his options open, just wanting to explore his recruitment, but he will be on the campus of the University of Alabama on tomorrow. But you also have some interesting guys who have not really taken that many visits to Alabama. I know a guy in 4-star wide receiver, Cole Adams out of Oklahoma, a very speedy wide receiver, a guy who's projected to be a slot wide receiver at the next level. He's going to take his first trip to Alabama since receiving an offer from the Tide. So you're going to see some familiar faces like Tony Mitchell, like Jaleel Hurley, Elliott Washington, the Crimson Tide's on verbal commit as well in the 2023 recruiting class. So you're going to see those familiar names, but you're also going to see some names that you may not be really familiar with, like Cole Adams, also another guy in Dayton Austin out of California. So it's going to be a loaded list of recruits headed to Alabama for this first weekend in March. But March is set to be a pretty interesting month for the Crimson Tide as we get guys on campus throughout this month. A lot of guys want to get on campus and just experience some spring practice, and I think that would be a good opportunity for Alabama to get those guys on campus and they get to see what our practice is like.
When you look at Justin, so in this 2022 class, and in particular the guys coming in this summer, we already got the spring enrollees, 13 of those guys, but the guys coming on campus in the summer, whether it be May, June, July, to fight for playing time, push for playing time, try to get on the field, which one of those guys, summer enrollees, do you see having that shot at playing time and actually will get that playing time?
Well, 2 guys come to mind when you ask that question. The first guy is Amari Black. I talk about the tight end group a couple of different times with me today, with me off the phone, and also you talked about it on your show. What freshman will step up in terms of at the tight end position. I think Amari Black could be a great complement to Cameron Latu as well at 6'5". I think Wayne Gore 220 pounds. I think weighs 225 pounds. He is a bit of a hybrid tight end, more of a receiving threat. I think he can be a guy who can develop into something that Jaleel Billingsley was, and I think a lot of Alabama fans wanted Billingsley to take that next step this past season. Amari Black has that frame, has that particular skill set to be a tight end who can develop into more of a blocker, but he's definitely a tight end with a lot of wide receiver experience, lined up out wide a lot during his senior season in Florida. So Amari Black is a guy I would pay attention to, along with Earl Little Jr. I think he's a very elite defensive back as well. I know the defensive back room it has a lot of experienced guys, and some guys who are waiting for an opportunity to emerge on next season. But if I had to pick a freshman in terms of a defensive back who can possibly come in and push for some type of playing time, my attention directly goes to Earl Jr. with a very high IQ, a guy who you can play all over the secondary, plays really well close to the line of scrimmage. I know a lot of people have compared him to Minkah Fitzpatrick for a lot of different reasons. I think it is because of his high IQ and his versatility, but I think the thing that most reminds me of Minkah Fitzpatrick when I take a look at Earl Jr.'s game is his ability to play in the box, his ability to help and run support, his ability to make tackles. I think that is sometimes an underappreciated trait of a defensive back. So I really like Earl Little Jr., and I'm excited to see what Amari Black can do if he could possibly earn some playing time to complement Cameron Little next season.
He's Justin Smith, ladies and gentlemen, joining us virtually right here, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst extraordinaire for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. If you haven't checked out Justin's show, The Process, every Tuesday and Thursday on the YouTube channel right here for TDA, I encourage you to check that out. Justin breaking down the footage, breaking down the tape, breaking down the film of all of these recruits, regardless of what class it is. This guy on it, traveling across the globe, coast to coast, watching every athlete that he can. He's also got an incredible revolutionary series here with gaming with recruits, putting them in a calm, relaxed atmosphere, having fun with them, getting that exclusive content right there. Justin, as always, we appreciate you coming on, spending some time here with us, my man. Stay safe, man. Be good.
You do the same, Steven.
Always fun here, getting a chance to talk with my man Justin Smith, even in a virtual setting. So once again, big ups to John Ivory. John be working back there behind the scenes, getting this hook up here with Justin and myself. But we go to a break right here, folks. Don't touch that down. When we get back, we return to the phone lines to grab your calls, your thoughts, your chats, your interactions. We get to you, the Bama fans, right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit weownthefourthquarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwill Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care, in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99, and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwillsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we're back into the action here, folks, from the break on a Friday. Number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you guys checking us out, giving us that like button, liking this show, running those likes up, making this your show, your network platform, channel, and space to talk your Tide. We go to the phone lines right now to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. Gotta shout out my man, Coach Smoke, a.k.a. Senator Hines, with that $10 donation in the Super Chats. Appreciate my man, Coach Smoke. And then my man, Bill from New York, Big Bill, with that $5 donation, helping us out here on the channel. But right now, we take this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? Your boy Elijah here. How you feeling, man?
Doing good, man. It's Friday, Elijah. What's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. Just at work, watching your show, doing absolutely nothing. But, yeah, I was looking at the new coaches that you had posted up early in your podcast, and I don't know too much about a lot of them. I know they say the guy from Kentucky, the offensive line coach, he's a pretty good one. He contributed a lot to the Kentucky run game that's been pretty good the last couple of years and things like that. I don't know too much about the gentleman from that I believe come from Miami. What's his name? The cornerbacks coach we got.
Yeah, Travaris Robinson.
Travaris Robinson. Yeah, I don't know too much about him or the other ones, but I hope one thing that they do establish in spring ball this year is a standard and an intensity, man. I want to see the intensity, the standard of the old Alabama defenses, the defenses that they came into the game and teams knew, you know what, we're gonna have to beat them through the air. There's no way in the world we're gonna be able to run on these guys because for the last couple of years, that's been missing. I think that type of mentality, that type of focus and energy on defense kind of left with the Sean Dion Hamilton, Reuben Fosters, and the Evans when they were at linebacker. The last couple of years, it's been more like I said to you before. Hey, we can run on this team. We can open up the playbook on this team for the last couple of years. And I'm not the type of guy to put that solely on the defensive coordinator, because like I said, he can't go out there and make plays. He can call defenses, and sometimes his defensive calls are a little shaky. But for the most part, the team still got to execute. That's what it comes down to, executing, on the defense, being properly lined up. So, as far as these coaches go, I'm very interested to see what all they bring to the table. But I really hope that standard comes back because it hurt me when I saw Florida this year running on Alabama's defense. And that's not us, man. And so many other teams 6 and 7 yards a pop. That's just not our defense. And I've seen a lot of people talk about, this defense is going to be great next year. This defense is going to be, we got people returning. Well, you know what? This defense that was on the field this year returned a lot of people. We were all up in arms about this defense that was on the field in 2021. And they improved later on in the season. Don't get me wrong, Stephen, you even admitted, hey, the later part in the season, this team started to turn around defensively. But at the beginning of the season, they looked lost, So I just, for these head coaches that's coming in, not the head coaches, excuse me, these positional coaches that's coming in this year, I want to see them bring that intensity back to this team. Even the offensive line, I want to see them be bulldozers and move people out the way. Let's get back to controlling the clock. Even though we got a Heisman winning quarterback in Bryce Young, let's get back to what Alabama does best. And that's moving these people off the ball, controlling the clock, and making people submit in the fourth quarter. And we kind of lost that identity the last couple of years. And I believe last year we could have done it. Brian Robinson is a big bruising back. I'm not taking nothing away. I'm not trying to take any credit away from Bryce Young. Bryce Young does his thing. He's a hell of a quarterback. But we took the ball out of Brian Robinson's hand. We could have controlled the clock a lot better if we would have got back to that Bama standard. And I understand the offensive line was weak, but I got one question for you, Steve. How did it take so long for us to realize that we needed to make a change at center? Like, if our starting center, if Dalcourt didn't get hurt, this young man would have never got the opportunity that he truly deserved. Like, why? I mean, I understand practice don't tell it all. Game reps are very important. But how could we not, our coaches, And these guys get paid very well to evaluate talent. They're not making no $5,000 and $10,000 a year. These coaches is making six figures. How did it take this coaching staff for so long, and they didn't even really realize there was a talent difference? If Dalcourt didn't get hurt, this young man would have never got in there. But can you answer why? And he wasn't even playing that great, Dalcourt wasn't. But why did it take so long for people to realize, man, this kid should have been probably playing from the first game of the season?
That Elijah, you look at Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone is the offensive line coach. You have to know what your personnel is, and you have to be able to understand, okay, if this guy is struggling and I got somebody on the bench that I've seen in practice, he is the coach, that I've seen in practice excel and do well, you've got to go to that guy sooner rather than later. So much of that was, did Doug Marrone know, did he know what he had? Did he understand the personnel he had? Did he understand the linemen that he had? And to me, I don't think he did. And that's part of the reason why he's no longer on the staff. He's back in the NFL due to, when you look at Dalcourt and you saw him struggling, even though Dalcourt got hurt prior to getting hurt, struggling. When you saw Chris Owens early on struggling at center, you could have looked and saw, okay, this Seth McLaughlin guy, he's giving me effort, he's giving me toughness, he's giving me tenacity, he's a feisty guy. Team seems to respond to him. Let's go to him now. Let's go to him sooner rather than later. A lot of that, Doug Marrone not recognizing fully the personnel that he had. But definitely appreciate my man, appreciate my man Elijah for that call right there. We go to this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hi, Stephen Smith. My name's Noah Owens. You want me to talk to?
Say it again. I couldn't quite get your name. Say it one more time.
My name's Noah Owens. Baker, Virginia. You want me to talk to? About Keegan?
Go ahead.
Hey, Stephen. How many quarterbacks is there?
One more time. So I couldn't quite get that. One more time.
How much the quarterback next year will be?
Or the quarterback. Well, the quarterback's still Bryce Young. Quarterback is still Bryce Young. Now the backup is going to come down between Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. That'll be fun to watch right there, but the starter's still Bryce Young.
Hey, Stephen, can I ask you one more question? I got two more questions for you, okay?
Go ahead.
I like that Magic. I'm watching right now on TV. I like that Magic. Would I get one of them for free?
More than likely could happen, man. More than likely could happen. But I appreciate that call right there coming in. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch that backup quarterback thing though between Milroe and Ty Simpson. But Bryce Young's still the starter. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from. You're live on the show, caller.
Yes, sir. Roll
What's going on?
Tide from cold Iowa.
What's going on, William?
Oh, man, not much, man. What's going on with you?
Doing good, man. Trying to still understand, why the A-Day game is going to be on SEC Network Plus and not on the ESPN family of networks. I mean, I understand some people like hearing Herb Street and Joey Galloway and Joe Tess. Some don't, but I don't get why you have to stream the A-Day game on SEC Network Plus.
I agree 100% on that. I mean, I think there's 3 on my SEC network up here off of Dish anyway. And, yeah, you'd think that more people would watch it. But anyway, I was going to ask you about how our second string are coming along. Do you know anything about any of them, or are they pretty good, or do you know?
The second string in terms of the offensive line, that's going to be real interesting because you look at whoever wins the 2 tackle positions, the ones that lose out are definitely going to be in that second string, that second wave. So that's going to be fun to watch. I think the second string defensive backs, that's going to be fun, but I think those guys will be fine. The second string running backs and receivers, I think those guys are fine. The second strings in the defensive line, those guys are pretty deep. So I look at just the offensive line second strings. I look at probably the inside linebacker second strings. Like, who comes behind a Henry To'o and a Jalen Moody at the inside linebacker position? I think offensive line and inside linebacker, those second strings will kind of be the guys I would keep my eye on.
Yeah, I think it's good to have a good second string anyway. To, have a group that, if the first group gets tired, have the other ones come in if they need be. That's the way I look at it. I don't know if anyone else looks that way or not, but that's the way I look at it. Also, I want to tell Beer Cans, man, I think he's been drinking that Kool-Aid too much over in Georgia, man. It's there's no way in the past 10 years how many we won, compared to whoop whoop. You won one, okay. So you won one. You got one on us, but that's not. I don't see it no more in the future. So roll tide, everybody.
Appreciate William for calling in. The biggest thing for Georgia will be, and especially with Kirby Smart, and we'll get to this in the final topic of the show, is can you handle the expectation of once you win one, now it's more. People get greedy fast. Once you win one, once you get to the mountain, can you continue to win? Can you win at the highest clip? Can you win even when you don't have the best recruiting class? Can you win even when you don't have the best talent? But because your name is Kirby Smart, people are going to expect you to still win. Can you win when coaches are being poached from your staff? Kirby's starting to finally experience something that Saban's been going through for the last 5-6 years, having coaches poached off your staff. Can you win even when that's going on? Can you get the next coach in here that can not only recruit, but teach, develop, instruct, motivate, all of those things? So it's a challenge, yes, to win one. And Kirby got him one, and that was a challenge. But now the bigger challenge starts. Can you sustain? Can you maintain? Can you keep yourself there? And I think Kirby's about to figure that out coming up here in the upcoming season. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling? State your name and where you're calling from. You're live on the show, caller. How you feeling?
Hello?
You're live.
Hello?
You're here, caller. We can hear you. And unfortunately, we lost that caller right there.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Steven? It's Bill from New York.
Okay, here we go. Bill, you're in here. We got you, Bill.
All right, Steven. Yeah, first thing I want to say is I want to compliment Elijah on his call. Like, that was a great call, and I think I could answer his question. The way to make this defense better is what we've been missing, and we've been missing the tackle in the middle. We've been missing Quinnen Williams and Barmore and Payne. That's what we need. We got the best linebackers maybe in the history of football, and that's not hyperbole. We're actually that good. Now, as far as your question about which coach is going to make the biggest impact, got to be Marrone. Like the Wolford who's replacing Marrone. I got to tell you a little bit about Marrone. See, he got the job in Buffalo as their head coach because he was a Syracuse alum, and the guy running the team at that time, Ralph Wilson, was having medical problems. Russ Brandon, he got in trouble for some sort of sexual harassment. He was a fellow Syracuse alum, and he hired Marrone. And I'm a Bills fan, and people go, who is this guy? And they hired him, and he was pretty much a disaster. But he had some sort of clause in his contract that if he left, he was getting millions of dollars. So that's when, and then inexplicably Jacksonville hired him, another troubled franchise. You know what I mean? So this guy got break after break and made millions of dollars. So Wolford placing Marrone is not going to be like Bobby Mercer trying to replace Mickey Mantle. You know what I mean? He doesn't have these big footsteps to follow. But I got to tell you, great show tonight, as always, and pleasure to talk to you. Do you think I'm right about what I said about the defense?
I mean, Bill, I agree with you, and that's one of the things where fans have been talking about is getting back to having that nasty, that disruptive nose tackle, like a Quentin Williams, like a Marcel Darius, a Deron Payne, a Christian Barmore. Where is that next disruptive nose tackle? And when DJ Dale first came in 2019, people thought maybe it could be him. Has not panned out that way. Tim Smith comes in 2020. People think, okay, maybe it's him. He didn't get much playing time at all last year. There's still an opportunity there for Tim Smith, but it's definitely a question from Tide fans is where is the disruptive nose tackle? I agree. Appreciate Bill from New York there for that call. Always enjoy Bill. But we're going to go to a quick topic right here, folks. And this one goes to Amari Cooper, continuing the Bama and the NFL conversation. The Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, considering looking at moving off of Cooper in the NFL New Year, which starts on March 20th. Now, Cooper is still owed $20.5 million. But if the Cowboys decide to release him, instead of trade him, if they can't find a suitable trade partner, this becomes very intriguing because where does Coop end up? He's from South Florida, played his high school ball at Miami Northwestern High School with Teddy Bridgewater as his quarterback. If he ends up back in Florida with Miami, Mike McDaniel would be really putting something together to turn Tua Tagovailoa up, because the chatter going around amongst Miami fans is Miami picks up Amari Cooper, they'll trade for Calvin Ridley and get him, they'll maybe draft either a John Mechie or a Jameson Williams, and they have Jalen Waddle. There you go, Tua. So where does Amari Cooper end up? There's conversations about, well, Coop could end up in New England. If that happens, and the Patriots draft a Jameson Williams or a John Mechie or a Slade Bolden to put with Mac Jones, here comes Mac Jones all the way up. So this is going to be intriguing. If I was Dallas, I would not move off of Amari Cooper just due to Dak Prescott numbers, statistics, data. It's better with Cooper on the field than with him off. If I was Dallas, I would move off of Zeke Elliott because I think Tony Pollard's a little bit better, a little bit fresher, less expensive. I would move off Zeke for Tony Pollard. But it looks like Jerry Jones is considering moving off of Amari Cooper. So if they're able to trade or not release him, where could he end up? This is going to be a very fun, intriguing story as it continues to develop. But we take a break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we get back, we tidy up loose ends with Alabama, Georgia. Could be the big rivalry for a long time between Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, especially after what happened at the NFL Combine. We'll talk about it after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we're back in here to the action, folks, from the break on a Friday, Free for All Friday, TGIF edition of the show, number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate all of you checking us out here on today. And before we get into final topic of conversation, got to remind you of TDAwear.com, rocking the shirt today. TDAwear.com. So for all of you fans out there, you're rocking your Bama gear, you're supporting that Roll Tide, you love screaming Roll Tide, supporting the program that you crave so much. You got to also have that support for the brand, giving you your consistent Alabama football news. That's us here at TDA. So check out TDAwear.com. We got all of your clothing, all of your fashion, all of your swag, all of your cultural needs here and supporting Alabama football. You go to TDAwear.com, link in the description. Show that support for Coach Saban, University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Now, for some people, they feel like the rivalry for years to come could end up being Alabama versus Texas A&M after Crimson Tide went down to Kyle Field, College Station, Texas, and Jimbo Fisher got the 41-38 win over Bama, and the Aggies stormed the field, and Texas A&M got millions of dollars in NIL money off that. But people felt like, the rivalry for years to come, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, Alabama, Texas A&M. And I could see that, but I think bigger than that, I think the rivalry for years to come for a long time is going to be Alabama, Georgia. Nick Saban, Kirby Smart. And part of the reason why I feel this way, aside from, these two programs have played in multiple SEC championship games against each other. These two have competed in 2 national title games. Each coach has won one and lost one. But this week during the NFL Combine, Jamison Williams took the podium, spoke to reporters, and was asked the question point blank. J-Mo, if you were healthy, if you did not go down with the knee injury against Georgia, do you think Alabama wins the national championship? He goes, yeah. If I didn't get hurt, yeah, we win. If I didn't get hurt, yeah, we beat them. And, you expect J-Mo to say that. He's supposed to say that. He's a competitor. Nothing wrong with that statement. He is a competitor. This is the same Jamison Williams that put on a show in the SEC championship game against Georgia. Scored 2 touchdowns. Tide won the game 41-24 in Atlanta. And for a lot of you, as Tide fans, it's been a little over a month since the championship game, and your thoughts are still, if Jamison Williams didn't get hurt, if J-Mo didn't get hurt, Bama would have won that national championship if J-Mo did not get hurt. And what's interesting here is Jamari Sawyer, former Georgia offensive lineman who was also competing in the Combine, trying to get a huge draft stock here. Sawyer was directed, I thought of, Jamari, we heard Jamison Williams, he sat there and said that if he didn't get hurt, Alabama would have beaten you guys. Do you have a comment for that? And Sawyer goes, move on. Game over. We scored more points. Just emphatic mic drop to shut down Jamison's claim right there with what Sawyer had to say. And it's intriguing because for years to come, when you look at how much Nick Saban and Kirby Smart know each other, how much their coaching staffs know each other, how much both institutions and both coaches go after the same players on the recruiting trail, the same caliber of athletes, these two could be in national championships against each other for a long time. And especially if Kirby Smart is able to keep himself at the top of the mountain or at that edge right there. It's like I mentioned before, when you win a national championship, it's a big deal. It's a challenge to get there. But the bigger challenge is, okay, how do I sustain knowing that every single challenge is about to hit me? From players leaving my program to the NFL, players leaving my program for the transfer portal, players leaving my program for bigger NIL deals, coaches leaving my program because they got hired somewhere else. Competition getting harder, competition getting tougher, fans expecting more wins, more push, more championships. We just got one, but we feel like we're prone for more. The pressure starts to mount after you win the first one. The pressure starts to build after you win the first one. Is Kirby Smart built to handle that pressure for a long period of time? That's going to be the big question he has to answer if he wants this to be him, Nick Saban, competing for championships in championship games every single time. Because when you look at the 2023 national championship, next year off of this upcoming season, a question is going to be, will it be Georgia and Alabama for the national championship in LA at SoFi Stadium? Could it happen again? I mean, Georgia's bringing back Stetson Bennett. I mean, they're bringing back, they got Arik Gilbert back in there. You got other guys coming back. Is it going to be Georgia and Alabama for the national championship in LA? Is this going to be a real thing? People are actually wondering that. Media prognosticators already wondering that. Betting sites in Vegas already wondering that. Is this going to be a rematch for 2023? We know what Nick Saban is, and now that Kirby's won his first national championship, it's kind of crazy how at one point in time, the rivalry for years to come was thought to be Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Bama, Florida. But that did not pan out. Coach Saban ran Urban Meyer completely out of the SEC. And, of course, Urban Meyer no longer coaching as of this point here. We're not coaching at this point here. And then people thought, okay, well, the rivalry is going to be Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, Alabama, Clemson. Well, the last 3 years, Clemson has faltered. I mean, lost to LSU in a national championship game, lost to Ohio State in a semifinal matchup last year, did not even make the college football playoff. Now does Dabo Swinney return the Tigers back to that pinnacle in the coming fall? We'll see. But for a minute, people thought it's going to be Nick Saban and Dabo, Nick and Dabo battling this thing out. Years to come, Clemson, Bama, that's the rivalry. Now it's starting to look like, especially after this comment here from Jamari Sawyer, just really shutting down Jameson's claim right there. Could it be Georgia, Alabama? I mean, I know people don't like two SEC teams in the national championship game every single year, but with Kirby finally getting his first, Nick Saban gathering up his coaching staff for one big final run of the national championship extravaganza here. Could it be Alabama and Georgia, the rivalry for years to come out? I think it may be. I think it has a shot to be that way. Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher, he may have something to say about this. Dabo Swinney may have something to say about this. Ryan Day at Ohio State, he may jump in here. But right now, Alabama, Georgia, Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, that might be what it is for years to come. But hey, we'll see. As always, Bama fans, you want the best news, notes, information, and coverage here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can check this out by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple. Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, we got you right here, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, Overcast.fm, iHeartRadio. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I shall return on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, that you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be in the description. If you're trying to get the fresh edition, print edition of TDA, the magazine, you simply go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link in the description. Also, you want that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry from our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com. That's weownthefourthquarter.com. that link in the description as well. Appreciate you guys, the Bama Nation, checking us out tonight. My man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, stopping by here. And as always, my man John Ivory in the production studio, behind the scenes doing his thing. Until next time, people, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands. Children, we've made it to the weekend, but continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing, to not be bored. You get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You make sure to protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.